couple of games have not been very good, and overarching, after Harden and Durant said this earlier, really you can make a very good case that in this series, Eric Gordon has been the third best player and has shot the ball better than the two Splash Brothers who have not shot it well. Really, neither of them, outside of a quarter from Clay, have shot it extremely well over the last couple of weeks, which brings up a couple of questions. Let's start with the Splash Brothers, Zeke, and I'll go to you on this. They understand their responsibility still, KD or no KD, is that they have to help with the offense. Is home exactly what they need in this case? When your shooting is at that level where it's off and you're two of the best shooters ever, what do you do other than keep shooting to get yourself back there?
Well, let me start by saying this. I am in no position to give Clay or Steph shooting advice.
Well, I knew Greg was going to say the same thing. I got to go somewhere.
Let me just say that. But what I can tell you is that probably what they're going through mentally and physically, in terms of trying to get back to the finals, for a third, actually this would be their fourth finals, and trying to win and trying to three-peat. I mean, the physical exhaustion is you can't believe how fatigued you get sometimes in these games. And while we're looking at number 30 in blue, underneath those legs, there may not be any juice in them that night. So the fatigue that you're fighting, and that's why they always said, trying to win a championship is a marathon, not a sprint. These guys have played more games, have been involved in more situations than anybody over the last 5 years. So mentally, physically, they're just worn down. Now, can they survive this marathon race that they're running? And that's what the champion, that's what will make them, great or be seen as great in this generation. Because if they can do it 3 times in a row, and people know how difficult it is to do it 3 times in a row, that's why it's so rare that what they're trying to do it's almost impossible.
I want to ask you this, Grant, because we were talking about Pat Bev being here, and he made a strong comment. He said that if after seeing Durant and his reaction to what they were doing to him and how he played, he says he's by far, were his words, the best player in the game. He's certainly by far right now more dominant, even with Kawhi. No disrespect at all offensively than anybody. He's getting to the line nearly half the time the team does as a total. He only took 22 shots. I know he doesn't want to be selfish, but what has this team been great at? When one guy is going, we feed that guy. While Kyrie saying I should take 30 shots might sound a little nutty, what about Durant? Shouldn't he take 30 shots if he's making as many of them and has been so dominant the way he has, at worst getting fouled almost every play?
Yeah, I mean, he's been so efficient with his play, scoring with ease. I think he's the type of guy that can read the situation. And look, when you have two of the best shooters of all time, I mean, they're missing their shots, but they're getting their shots. Mm-hmm. Klay Thompson missed a bunch of shots, but these are shots that he's made his whole career. And fatigue, may play a huge role, as Isaiah talked about. I think a couple things. One of those guys will get hot. And one of them is always a shot away from being hot.
Yeah.
And so that's how good they are as shooters. But, I would imagine at home, a must-win, obviously, for Golden State.
That's what I'm asking. You okay with it in the second half? Kevin says, hey, look, let's go.
I'm okay with it, and I think they're okay. I think they respect Durant and respect his ability, and I think it's a real sort of selfless locker room. I think it's about trying to win. And so if Durant's the hot hand, feed him. Hey, if Klay gets hot, I think Durant is inclined to find him. And so, but Durant has been the consistent one here, and he just needs a little bit of help. One of those guys, they don't need both of them. They just need one of them to have a big night, and we know that they're capable of doing that.
And their bench right now is not giving them much, so it's all coming from that starting 5.
I think, Grant, they depend on Durant to give them that extra juice because he's got the most energy. I mean, when you look at Clay and Steph in terms of how many games they've been playing, Draymond and so, those guys are the ones that are really fatigued. Durant is the fresh guy in all of this. So they're saying, hey, look, just carry me until I get hot. Carry me until I get back on again. Mm-hmm. And I think they're okay with that. And he definitely can do it.
Yeah.
Crazy enough, down 3, they both did Durant and Curry, got looks that I don't think Mike D'Antoni going to want to see them get again in that spot. Nobody wants to see anybody like Giannis going to the paint, but the help defense from the Celtics, it's been...
This dude running hard in the layup line. Look at this, Grant. Now you talking about getting warm up.
Hey,
this how you warm up.
I'm going in the back. I'm going to get some pumpkin pie. I'm going to watch this guy because he's fun to watch.
This dude warming up hard and he sprinting in the layup line.
You brought pumpkin pie, but I'm hungry. I didn't realize it was still a holiday. It must have been. We get a chance to talk more about the Bucks and what they've done. Do you have any peach pie?
You're so literal, man.
Well...
Pumpkin pie.
Sixers and the Raptors in what is now a best 2 out of 3. Second quarter, Lowry all the way to the cup and the foul.
Everything going Toronto's way right now.
Rebound to Green. He'll fire. Got it. It's a 3. Second quarter, it careened out of control for the 76ers.
It was a good team win. We needed this type of game where everyone played well. I don't think we have a game like this in a while.
Siakam ball fake, lost it. All right, count it. Not exactly how they drew it up, but right now it's non-stop for the Raptors.
Also, I think we did a pretty good job tonight, just getting stops and running. When we play together as a team and we get stops, we run. I think everyone kind of gets involved.
The Toronto Raptors are locked in.
You can see Brett Brown right now perplexed. Just doesn't have any answers.
The second period is where it got away from us. I give Toronto credit. We didn't have answers for a few of their players, and it snowballed.
Leonard peeks at the clock, 5 seconds. Leonard makes his move. Oh! That's a man's jam! Kawhi Leonard! And another Kawhi light.
It's always good to close out quarters and halves with some momentum. Kawhi kind of gave a little hesitation, and then he gave a pretty big explosion to the rim.
They outscore the 76ers 37-17.
I just felt like Toronto overwhelmed them. It almost seemed like they were demoralized Philly in that second quarter. Toronto just steamrolled them.
You look at the turning point, you think about the second quarter, you look at some of these numbers, and obviously the shooting stands out. What's not on a stat sheet, again, I hate to say this, sabermetric world, effort plays. And when you look at the two series, it should not be a shock to anybody that the two teams who everybody had said had all the talent but didn't play as a team are both on the brink of going home. I mean, that's it. The two teams that play as a team, maybe don't have as much talent, aren't. You guys know that from a coaching and player performance. I got to start with Embiid. Grant, as somebody who had to deal with so many injuries during your career, you know what it's like to go out there. I mean, 100% was a number you didn't see since Duke, right? But you give everything you got. If you're going to play in your Embiid, I'm sure he was sick. Don't you still have to play well or not play? I mean, how do we look at Embiid and judge his play knowing that he's sick? Does it matter?
First of all, Casey, it's the oddest thing that's going on with him because he's had 3 different issues, it seems, in terms of what his health is, and it's a bit of a mystery. I do think that what Brett Brown said in the post press conference after the game 4, where he called him 9 hours before the game, maybe kind of threw him under the bus a little bit. But the bottom line is, if you're going to suit up and you're going to go out there and play, you may not play well, but you got to look at least engaged. And it looked like he was not engaged. He obviously was a little under the weather. We've seen people go out and play great when they're not, at their best. Isaiah had one of the historic
one hand,
one leg.
Yeah, one leg.
One leg in the finals there, and people have played with the flu before and played with the head cold, and so I don't know what he's dealing with and what's going on, but if you're going to suit, it's better if don't play at all. Don't play at all. But if there's an expectation that you're ready to go, that you're going to go out there and be at your best. There was uncertainty going into Game 3. He was spectacular in Game 3 and willed his team to victory. He's been just average and almost disinterested in the last 2 games.
I'm watching you and listening to you and thinking I wish there was a bubble over Zeke's head as he's listening to the words you're saying, because he's going back to all the times like you reference in those finals. I feel like if somebody went into the room with the bad boys and said, I'm sick, guys, I mean, what's the reaction?
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
First of all, they wouldn't have the nerve to utter those words out of their mouth in the playoffs. And second of all, if I take it and I put my opponent's jersey on, and you're signaling to me, I'm straight shark in the water, and I'm hunting for blood, and you already letting me know that you're bleeding, that you're sick, you're not feeling good. Hey man, this is the playoffs. This is about the championship. I'm getting ready to devour you, and I have no sympathy for you. Now, you may get sympathy from the fans, but from the opponent who's getting ready to play against you, and you've already signaled you got an injury or you not feeling well, I am getting ready to put my foot on your neck and just, end this thing right now. And that's what he did in game 5 in Toronto when he put out the signal that I'm not feeling good. Okay, you got Kawhi Leonard shock in the water like, oh, you bleeding? Oh, I'm getting ready to eat this up. This is live meat in the water, and we're getting ready to take advantage. And that's what Toronto did.
You said sympathy. It is Philly. I don't think they're sending him Sudafed anytime soon.
No, but I'm just saying, but from an opponent's perspective.
They can read that. You can sense body language.
Absolutely.
No question.
Absolutely. That's. I'm waiting for any crack in the armor that I see. And if I see a crack in the armor, then I'm opening that.
Lots of cracks right now in that bell with Philadelphia on the brink. We have a lot to get to before we get to a team that's in that fashion, the Celtics tonight. But how about coming up on Thursday on ESPN? It is the Raptors and the Sixers, 8 p.m. Eastern time, game number 6. And then Nuggets and Trailblazers. The Nuggets boat race Portland, but they go home. It's where the heart is and some wins have been. They haven't played well on the road. Dame gets another chance. Have it be Dame time. Coverage begins 7 o'clock Eastern time. Game time on NBA TV. A big part of that series has been the veteran leadership and play on the Nuggets side from Paul Millsap.
Millsap's been the one guy all series long that Portland's had a hard time figuring out.
I think his calm nature, his calm demeanor has an effect on our group. Young team going through all this for the first time, and when you can look to a 4-time All-Star with 90 playoff games under his belt, that's reassuring. He's the kind of the calm for our team, and I think that has a tremendous impact on all of our young players.
A fake, Millsap scores. The right-hand fake, left-hand layup. Way to go, Paul.
Saab's been huge for us. He has the most playoff experience on the team, and he's been that calming factor. He's been bringing it.
Millsap goes to work in the paint. He's been so good in there.
It's not his first time, he's been here before. He's showing everybody the ropes. Showing how dependent he can be on both ends of the floor. Just one of those guys that's just really solid all around. He's just an anchor for our team on the defensive end as well. So he does all the little things that can help us win games and just set the tone for us.
Paul Millsap has it cooking tonight. In 17 minutes, has only missed 3 shots.
And then when all else fails, you got to guard Millsap. They throw it to him on the block, and he's a handful for guys to guard because he's in the paint. He's face-up jumpers. He's making threes. In transition, you got to find him, and then he's a monster on the glass.
He sees these smaller Portland wings that are on him, and he just goes to work. Murray behind the back to Millsap, and a foul. Wow. And count that one.
He was huge in everything: physicality, pace, offensively and defensively. He was really huge in today's game.
Paul Millsap muscles down the rebound. Man, is he having a game. Nice catch, great pass. And Millsap finishes. It's not just Murray and Jokic. They got a real triple threat here in Denver, and Paul Millsap is in it.